WordPress for Toastmasters now supports 2 different online payment options that you can use for things like collecting renewals. On our renewals page, you're prompted to either choose the person who's renewing their dues, or you can log in so that the system will recognize you. And it will show you prompts. This site is set up to use either credit card processing via Stripe or payment by PayPal. So with the PayPal option, I'm going to log in. I'm using a test account here. I'm not paying real money. But the process is essentially the same for your live transactions. And I'll get back a confirmation message saying that that transaction was successfully processed. Now, if I went down the other route and did pay with card, I would be prompted to enter a credit card number, expiration date, security code, and zip code. And once again, I'll get back a message saying that that transaction has gone through. Now, if I'm the treasurer trying to keep track of who has and hasn't paid their dues, I can go to this Track Dues screen under TM Administration, and I will see the latest payments that have come in, including the 2 that I just made. Normally, people only pay their dues once. It's probably better that way. But I also have a listing of all the members and what their current due status is. A bunch of these are under a question mark for when their dues are paid up to, which is the way it would be if you were using this for the first time. But I can say that this person is marked paid. Maybe I got a check from them or I got cash from them instead of an online payment. And we also have listings to see who is paid up into the future. And down at the very bottom, we'd also have a section for showing people who have indicated that they're not planning to renew. And finally, we have a way of entering a manual transaction. So maybe this person paid by Venmo instead of PayPal or Stripe. And so we're going to put in their details, and we're going to say how long they're paid up for, and we'll save changes. And that will show up at the top of the list. Now I can also go over and see a list of just all the transactions that have been logged in the system. I can browse them manually. Again, I'm seeing what's most recent, but then there's also this section down here where it's listed out in a format that we can add to a spreadsheet. So if this is our club budget spreadsheet, we can paste all this information in. And when we do that, Google is actually smart enough to notice that this could be split up into columns, and so it prompts us to do that. So now we have a spreadsheet of all our transactions, and we might also track what we've in turn paid to Toastmasters International. Now there's a setup screen for your dues schedule where you specify what your dues are, what your club dues are on top of TI dues, what you charge at renewal time. There is a link in here for the PayPal and Stripe setup, or you can go back up to the top. This menu has a link that says Online Payment Setup. So again, in Online Payment Setup, you can set up PayPal, you can set up Stripe, or you can configure both. And so this site was set up to use both. If we click the link, we can log into what's called the PayPal developer portal, and they ask us to create an app. We're not doing any fancy coding, but we're creating credentials to be used with the online payment app. If I want them to be live credentials, as opposed to the sandbox testing environment, I have to specify live instead of sandbox. I put in the name, my club dues, create app, and I'll come back to this in a moment to show you the credentials that we would copy over. For Stripe, it's a similar thing. We go into their portal, we log in, and this comes up showing the the production version, to collect real money, but we can also toggle over into the sandbox or test version, which is what I'm going to do for demo purposes. We can click to copy the key and paste it in over here. And then there's a secret key we have to reveal. And again, we can click to copy and paste it into the form. For PayPal, it's the same basic routine. Now here I'm going to show you a sandbox or test version. Copy over, they call it the client ID and the client secret. Again, it's just a matter of copy and paste. We have to show the secret key. And we'll paste in here. And for each of these, we need to specify whether we're operating in sandbox mode or production mode. And also down the bottom, we can choose to prefer one service over the other or to show both of them. So it comes back and says that yes, those settings have been saved. It prompts us to test the keys to make sure that they are connecting properly, and it looks like we're good. Now also here, when you set up the application, it prompts you, do you want to create a dues renewal page? So if I take that default and click through to edit the page, we'll just see a placeholder here where that widget is going to appear on the front end that will display Stripe and display PayPal if both are configured, or whichever one we have set up. This also works with the online version of the application, where you can invite people to come in and fill out a web-based form rather than emailing PDFs back and forth. So this saves on some data entry issues. We're not going to be putting in the wrong email address because we couldn't read their handwriting on a paper form. And also just the awkwardness, even if you're scanning in forms and emailing them back and forth, that's fairly awkward too. So they agree to all the same things. They submit the form. And on the confirmation page, they see, again, pay with card or pay with PayPal. Finally, we can set up a page for collecting other sorts of payments. So in this example, we're selling t-shirts to promote club spirit. We'll put in the amount, and we're setting this up to be a PayPal payment. We can publish that. And here we see PayPal. Do the same thing with Stripe. Take that one out and put in Stripe instead. So this is going to be the same thing, t-shirt orders. We want to display some information about them, and we're going to set it for $10. And in the Stripe version, there's actually a little toggle here to say show PayPal also. So again, if you have them both set up, you can show both of them. So here we go, pay with card, pay with PayPal. In each case, the goal is to allow you to collect more money more easily.